Mr. PM, sir, I hope you listen to me. I'm not your enemy, just the voice of the people. La da do dum da do. Last year enough people said give you a song. In all fairness, I told all of them hold on. It was only 1 year, you deserve a chance. But it's 2 years now, grace period past and gone. I had no problem with the pension, that was okay. But the money you didn't source on your own. So the credit for that it had to split 2 ways. Since after that we waiting for something major to be done, not one capital project. Mr. PM, like your government on recess.
Mr. PM,
but it's only pictures and videos.
Mr. PM,
while the poor people belly hollow.
Mr. PM,
the place looking bleak, things not sweet on the street, but it's only paint and flowers like and everywhere you pass, people balling, balling. All over the damn country, people balling, balling. Like all you deaf and listening, balling, balling. Everywhere you go, Papa, people balling, balling. The economy sick, no money on the street, but all you only planting flowers like
flowers go to eat.
oh Lord, them public servants say they waiting still. Like regularizing them got stuck on a hill. The teachers and humanist tired fret, and them nurses say how they live to regret. The healthcare condition is overbearing. Basic medication the patients can't get. And the more people cry, all you're doing nothing. The hospital suffering from a complete case of neglect. What about no more contract?
Mr. PM,
And primary health care, that was vote talk.
Mr. PM,
The medical staff could hardly function.
Mr. PM,
And it's like that all over the island.
Mr. PM,
The place looking bleak, things not sweet on the street, but it's only paint and flowers like
everything good to eat.
and everywhere you pass, people balling, balling. Everywhere you go, mama, people balling, balling. People can't feed their families, balling, balling. All over the country, people balling, balling. People feeling sick, hopelessness have them weak, but all you only planting flowers like
Flowers go to eat.
oh Ladoy. Bambado, bambado, Ladoy. Mr. PM, the old people have a saying, who can't hear this feel? Listen, sir. Mr. PM, the country living in fear. Night and day bullets ringing out everywhere. Still waiting for you say something to we. As we lead on head of security. Right now the people frightened and hopeless. No What about Edwin Martin?
Mr. PM,
You ain't want him, but others need him.
Mr. PM,
National security in trouble.
Mr. PM,
Cause the police force you dismantle.
Mr. PM,
The place looking bleak. Things not sweet on the street. But it's only paint and flowers like them thing go to. And everywhere you pass, people balling, balling. Everywhere you go, Papa, people balling, balling. The country don't have no money, sir. Balling, balling. All over the place, Mama. People balling, balling. People afraid to sleep. Things not safe on the street. But all you only planting flowers like
flowers good to eat.
plenty families hurting still can't believe. With all the empty campaign promises you give. Enough people with no place to rest their head. Where all they talk about housing, housing, and all your dread. On the Chinese houses, those families were waiting to have a place they could call their home. And with the sweet talk, they thought that better was coming. Was almost free now to get it, they have to beg for a loan. What about affordable housing?
Mr. PM,
People fed up at the mama guiding.
Mr. PM,
Tell them about the Stony God project.
Mr. PM,
Cause they say you're pretending like you forget.
Mr. PM,
The place looking bleak. Things not sweet on the street. But it's only paint and flowers like.
things good to eat.
And everywhere you pass, people balling, balling. Everywhere you go, Papa, people balling, balling. The country don't have no money, sir. Balling, balling. All over the place, Mama, people balling, balling. People on the street with no place to eat or sleep. But all you only planting flowers like. There we go. Yo, yo, yo. Yeah. Politics, politics. You divide Grenada and that's no kicks. I don't like it. Politics, politics. Now so many things I will have to fix. So I go fix up them old police station to hold those who murder and rape. Because I fed up reading the media about an ex-prisoner escape. And I go fix up all those high prices that most Grenadians can't afford. Instead of demolishing those poor vendors put along the side of the road and leave them balling with their mouth closed. Oh God, baby Jesus is of the blows. Grenadians balling with their mouth closed. The higher the monkey climb is more we expose. My people balling with their mouth closed. Oh God, and this is of the blows.
And good night to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. Wherever you are locally, regionally, internationally, we say a special good night to you.
Up some doors.
Those of you joining us via We Noise Radio 94.9 out there in Brooklyn.
Transformation in we mass. The people balling anywhere you pass.
We
Transformation.
say a special good night to those of you joining us via the YouTube, those of you joining us via the Facebook.
Nation
It is a Thursday night, and we have our Thursday night talks as usual.
in we mass. Hey.
it's already 11 minutes after 8. We're not going to go into the roll call tonight. What we're going to do is we're going to open the phone lines nearly immediately, so you'll have the opportunity to call.
Politics.
So the phone lines are open.
Tell me howdy. All because
I'm trying to get your feedback on the Prime Minister's statements today, saying that he has lost trust and confidence. Trust, confidence, yeah.
yes, I love the progressive sciences. So tell me.
In Senator Lacrette, and as such, he asked him to demit office and thing.
Yes, but now we robbing up the same white boys like a bed bug in the night. But just remember the local workers and make sure that you treat them right. Don't leave them balling with them out close. Oh God, baby, Jesus is up the blows. Grenada's balling with them out close. They say when you
And we have a call online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, good night.
Good night, my dear. How are you?
How you doing? I was listening to the Prime Minister today in the second question when the media asked him with the second question. I heard he say that he and Mr. Lacrette had a deal with the people for 2 years, and the 2 years up. So that's why he had us to let him go. So I don't know, but I find out that I hear he say when they asked him the last question.
Well,
Because when they asked him what is it, like he lose the confidence in Mr. Lacrette, then the first question he didn't really answer. The first one, when Mikey asked him the first one, he said something else. And then what I noticed with him, he don't answer in question. And afterwards, when Mr. Andrew come to speak, then he comes saying, happy independence to the people after he says, sorry, happy emancipation day. Of course, these people are them lying, eh? When they can't answer in this last question with the same confidence he losing Mr. Lacrette. When he's saying this thing, watching Mr. Andrew, he was watching the Prime Minister and he's smiling because he knows to himself the Prime Minister was lying and he knows. So that's why he was watching him and giving him a good smile. He had more to say. And then you know what I noticed? I had to say like they almost get a little clash because when I forget she name, the lady who us have the guy with the person in the pedestrian park and saying, stop. That same woman, that thing, that was the Speaker of the House, like the chairman then. And when they asked him the media asked him the question, and then he answered, then she was trying to ask him a next one, and she cut across in front the media to say, that's not it, that's no, and then we talk about sports. Then he turned and say, let she ask the question. She still asks him the question, and he will never answer the question. He's saying something else. But what I'm trying to say, the Prime Minister must stop that, and he must make the people who had put him there happy. I didn't put him there, but the people that put him there, he must try to make them happy, and he must stop lie. Because just as today, when I was going on the bus, a guy was saying, the talk was not mine, but then he have two girls on the bus was saying that the Prime Minister don't have right to do what he do, Mr. Lacrette. And the next guy turned and saying, the Prime Minister don't make him go because the Prime Minister still keep him. But then I had to answer the guy and ask him, what head he have? If he don't have no head, what senseless is actually? Because I say, if you was listening to the press conference today, you would have heard what he was saying. So what I'm trying to say, the people that put the Prime Minister there, he must try to make them happy. And I know we don't know the reason why he lost confidence in Mr. in Lacos. So we have to let this man come down to clear himself and say what confidence the Prime Minister lost in him. That's the only thing what we will know. When he come and he clear himself, we will know what confidence the Prime Minister lost in him. Have a good time.
All right, my dear. Here's what I'll do. Let me play a bit of what the Prime Minister said today, because some of you may not have gotten the opportunity to do so. I know some of y'all, you don't like to hear him. Yes, I know. I understand. But it's, as I said, it's always important to hear what they have said. You cannot counter what they have said if you didn't hear it. So you need to hear what they have said. Yeah, so I want you all to listen as we play what the Prime Minister said, and then we'll get back to taking the calls. Yeah, I see one or two of you calling, but we'll get back to the calls. So let me play this for you now.
For the work that you're doing. The second issue I want to address is to inform the public that yesterday I advised the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecilia Grenada, to recall the appointment of Minister Jonathan Lacrette as the Minister for Youth and Sport, and also to recall his appointment as Senator as a result thereof, since his senatorial appointment was in effect to allow him to carry out his duties as a minister. I have since communicated that decision to Mr. Lacrette yesterday morning and thanked him for his service to the government and people of Grenada as a Minister of Government and as a Senator. He has expressed his appreciation for being given the opportunity to serve in the Cabinet of Ministers. The reason for doing so is that as Prime Minister, sitting in the Cabinet, I formed the view that I had personally lost trust and confidence in Minister Lacrette in his capacity as a minister, and in those circumstances I thought it was appropriate for me to inform him of that fact and to inform his fellow cabinet colleagues. I want to emphasize that there is no personal issues between myself and Mr. Lacrette. I am quite fond of him. There are no personal issues between him and the ministers of government. They have an excellent relationship. This is purely an issue of my prime ministerial discretion in relation to Minister Lacrette as a minister in cabinet, and in circumstances where as Prime Minister I no longer hold confidence in any particular minister, the only appropriate thing to do would be to allow the minister to be relieved of the burden of ministerial duties, and I have so done. I appreciate that the journalists who are here and other members of the media may have questions as to why I formed that view. I will indicate that I will not get into the nitty-gritty of the details because they are not appropriate given the fact that it's a trust and confidence issue, but I'm happy to entertain any questions that you may have nonetheless in light of that. For completion, I should indicate that Senator the Honorable David Andrew will act as Minister for Youth and Sport in the meantime until I make a further decision as to the substantive post of Minister for Youth and Sports or any further cabinet realignment that may arise thereof. Mr. Lacrette still remains a member of the National Democratic Congress. I look forward to continuing to work with him in that capacity as a member of the National Democratic Congress. He has also acted as the caretaker for St. George Northwest, and unless he says otherwise, I expect that he will continue to do so. So that's it. I'm happy to entertain any questions that any of the journalists may have. Press Secretary.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Beverly Telesford, you have a question at this time? You may proceed.
Good morning, Beverly Telesford from the Broadcasting Network. If trust is regained, do you ever see yourself excusing the minister?
It's always possible. Ministerial appointments come and go. It's not an uncommon thing for ministers to be appointed, reappointed, or reassigned. So the answer is yes.
Thank you, Beverly. We have two hands, two journalists online. Mikey, I saw your hand first, so you may ask your question. Then we'll take Johnson Richardson from MTV. Go ahead, Mikey.
Good morning, Mr. Prime Minister, and to the other panelists. Prime Minister, can you highlight some of the scenarios that would have helped you to form your conclusion that you can no longer trust Honorable Lacrette or would have lost the confidence in him?
Well, I just said I wasn't going to do so for that simple matter that trust and confidence is a personal matter in my capacity as minister, and for that reason I would obviously not want to disclose what I consider personal in a public setting.
Thank you, Mikey.
Go
ahead.
No, I think, how do I say this? Although it's personal, I believe as Prime Minister that the public, on a decision like this, at least the public is owed some degree of explanation to help us to at least to support your decision, or at least to be clear of the thought that maybe it's not a situation of victimization also, because we know that that will also be part of the narrative that goes out after today.
Well, no, so I understand the curiosity, but let me make it clear. When someone serves as a minister in government, they serve because the Prime Minister's asked them to serve. And at any point in time, even for no reasons, you could be relieved of your duties to so serve. So anyone who's serving as a minister understands that. Similarly, I serve as Prime Minister at the pleasure of the majority of the members of Parliament who are members of the National Democratic Congress. So I too understand that if I'm unable to command the majority support of the majority of the members of Parliament of the National Democratic Congress, that I too, they could relieve me of the burdens of being the Prime Minister. That is the political reality. And in those circumstances, if I behave in a manner where, even if I think I'm perfectly fine, it has led to a loss of confidence in the members, and they express that to me, then that's the reality. So I'm saying, in the context of me as Prime Minister and in the context of Minister Lacrette as Minister, that is essentially what has happened. And I'm saying precisely for that reason, I don't think it would be appropriate or in the best interest of even the public to get into a public nitty-gritty discourse of the interactions between myself and the minister that would have led me to form that view. And I want to emphasize here that it is in relation to his sitting as a minister in the cabinet of the government of Grenada, because that is really the only basis upon which I would have formed that view.
Thank you, Mikey. Johnson Richards, you may ask your question at this time.
Mr. Minister, although you said that you're not going to go into the reason for your action, the allegation on the ground is that.
Well, I just gave you. I just gave you the reasons for my action. I told you I lost trust and confidence in him. I didn't, as in his capacity as minister. So don't say I didn't give you the reason.
Okay. Yes, yeah, but yeah. So I'm asking. I'm saying to you that the allegation on the ground is that there was a heated argument during the cabinet meeting yesterday. Are there any truth to that? What is out there? Are there any truth to that allegation?
No, there's no
And
truth.
if so,
No, there's no truth to that allegation. Let me repeat. I indicated to you that I informed the Governor General yesterday, and the only person who would have been present when I informed the Governor General is me and the Governor General. And then I would have informed Minister Lacrette of my decision. That was done in the presence of the other cabinet colleagues. And that essentially is all that happened. Minister Lacrette would have thanked me and thanked the colleagues for the opportunity to serve. And that's the extent of the engagement or interaction that happened between myself and Minister Lacrette, or Minister Lacrette and the other cabinet colleagues.
Thank you, Johnson. Nisha Peters, you have a question on this matter?
Good morning, and good morning to everyone on the head table. Mr. Prime Minister, it's less than, let's say, 2 months from celebrating your second year in office. All the ministers got high praises, even the Senator Jonathan Lacrette. And today we're here at this juncture. And you're saying you lost confidence in the minister, but yet you're still saying that he remains a member of the NDC and you're willing to work with him on that end. And we're still trying to understand, and you're not giving us a direct reason as to why, because you don't want to go into details, but how is that even possible? How can you lose confidence in your minister, yet for us to be able to work with him as a member of the party?
Because I'm a professional. That's why. So let me explain what I mean by that. The job of Prime Minister is not a personal job. It's a public job that requires me to act in the best interest of the cabinet, in the best interest of the government, and in the best interest of the National Democratic Congress. It is not a question of whether I like someone or whether I'm fond of someone. And it's actually not a question of whether yesterday you might have been performing spectacularly. It doesn't mean that today you may not be. And life is dynamic. And it is because life is dynamic, it's because I'm a professional, it's because I have no personal issues with former Minister Lacrette. that I am able to continue working with him as a member of the National Democratic Congress. And I want to, I think, engage in a little bit of education. We have to appreciate that. I appreciate that perhaps from the outside, one may believe that being the Prime Minister or being a member of cabinet is the ultimate trophy or the ultimate prize or office. I actually don't see it that way. The basis upon which the state exists is you have a parliament, you have an executive, and you have a judiciary. And to me, the highest office is that of parliament, that of being a member of parliament. And I just want to explain, former Minister Ron Headed was the Minister of Youth and Sport. He's a member of parliament for St. George Northwest. Northeast, my apologies, sir. Maybe a premonition. For St. George Northeast. He was given an opportunity to relinquish the office of minister. He remains a member of parliament to pursue his educational pursuits. These things are quite normal. I think maybe because our parliament is so small, only 15 members, that there's this.
Yeah, folks, I think we had enough for him, right? Nice, yeah. Yeah, I think we had enough for him, but yeah, come off my screen there. I think I'm done with you. I ain't want to hear nothing. 440-7377, that's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Let me say several things here. One, the first thing I'd like to say is this. I'm Dave Andrew. If I was you, I'd have started to pack up my office already. Because it seems as though the ministers of youth and sport don't have a long shelf life within the National Democratic Congress. The first one you had, the first one you had there, you had Ron Redhead. We know what happened with him. Well, yeah, we know Ron was out. Next we had Mr. Jonathan Lacrette, and you see what happened to him. And now we have you. It seems as though, Mr. Dave, it seems as though ministers of youth and sport don't have a long shelf life when it comes to the National Democratic Congress under the Deacon Mitchell administration. All right? So, brother man, start getting some box and thing and start to pack your stuff and thing to go out from the office and thing. Make sure all your affairs in order and them kind of thing, because it ain't look like it will last too long. Take what I'm telling you. That ain't look like it lasting long, brother. Because if the trend continues, you next. Yeah, all right? Also, I think it is disrespectful to the Grenadian people for the Prime Minister to say that he has lost trust and confidence and at least not give an instance of why. Are there multiple instances of why he has lost trust and confidence? And is it a reflection of him as a leader that he has selected this person, he has placed them in one of the highest offices as the Minister of Health, then he removed them from Minister of Health and he put them in another very important ministry, such as the Ministry of Youth and Sport. And now he has removed them totally, so they are no longer a senator, they're no longer in the government structure. Yet still he's still telling them, for the people of St. George Northwest, all they really don't like St. George Northwest people, you know. You kick him out of parliament, so he's no longer a senator. You kick him out of cabinet, he's no longer a minister. But you're telling him, hold on in St. George Northwest if he chooses to do so. So stay in St. George Northwest. Listen, St. George Northwest has a representative. They have a representative. So who want to go and build office and do like they're in charge of St. George Northwest and all that kind of things? Not total nonsense. So after you've treated the man like that, you expect him to come and say, yeah? Now, you're saying that you have issues with the gentleman. You have issues with him. Tell the Grenadian people what the issues are, because what we're hearing outside here is that the issues surround corruption involving members of your cabinet. What we are hearing outside here is that it involves corruption, including you, Mr. Prime Minister. That is what we're hearing outside here. Those are the allegations that we're hearing on the street that you can make a fair comment about. That the corruption that we're hearing about in the National Lotteries Authority, that there is serious and significant corruption taking place within the National Lottery Authority. And we are hearing that on no less than 3 occasions, you, Mr. Prime Minister, were written to in relation to the allegations of corruptions taking place within the National Lottery Authority. We have also heard on the streets. We have heard on the streets that a letter firing the chairman of the board of directors was given to him, and that you, Mr. Prime Minister, pull it back. So you covering up corruption. That is what we are hearing out here. And Mr. Prime Minister, just understand, you will not be in office forever. Eh? I hope you know. Just remember, on the 1st of August, 2024, I'm making that statement to you, to the minister sitting next to you, to the Attorney General, and to all the others within your cabinet, that you have less time in office than you may think. Because by the time you turn your head around twice, elections at your door. And you all definitely will not be in office after that general election. So let me say to you all now, you could only cover up for so long. So if there is corruption taking place, and the minister identified that corruption, and if the minister also, from what we are hearing from various sources, that the minister exposed direct corruption involving various ministers, again, ministers within your cabinet, who are involved in making money out of the plight, the suffering of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. How they have set themselves up and have already made significant sums of money off of the suffering of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. For you and your cabinet to say you all go in and take a pay cut and donate the money to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, because that's what the New National Party would do. The New National Party has a history of doing things like that in situations like this. We'll come to the phone lines in a while. The New National Party has a history of doing things like that. Instead of saying that you all going to take a pay cut or so, what we are hearing is that different ministers have set themselves up. I'm hearing of ministers who check in the partner to give them contract to go in Carriacou, giving them form a company. You go in Carriacou and you're getting a contract to go and clean up an area. Get who you could get to go with you. And when you're getting paid that amount, I getting a percentage out of it. Not I as in me. I'm just using the theoretical here. Not me, not Sheldon. No. I just want to make that clear. Not Sheldon Scott, not Sheldon Douglas, not Awi Sheldon. No, not us. Right? But that what they have set up is a corrupt scheme. They're operating like the mafia. And that this particular minister decided that he had had enough of it, started to speak up against it, and that is the reason that he was treated the way he has been treated. Say, hold on the phone line. We will come to the phone line in a while. So that is what we have been hearing. That this minister took a stand. And in taking that stand, that is why you don't hear any other members of the cabinet saying, well, okay, we support him, or we're sorry to see him go, and that sort of thing. Because it seems as though he has taken a principled stand, and due to the fact that he has taken a principled stand on these issues, you all decide, nah, that man can't go and talk on the corrupt act, we will get rid of him. Let me say this to him. Mr. Jonathan Gayton Lacrette, former Minister of Youth and Sport, former Minister of Health, former Senator, hold a press conference. Tell the nation what happened. Do it, and do it soon. Don't allow them to paint you as corrupt. Because I'm looking at the NDC supporters online. I am hearing the comments being made by various members of the NDC out there. And while we are hearing that you were the one that decided to stand up and you're not going to tolerate that sort of thing, we are also hearing now them trying to paint you as though you are corrupt. And that is the reason that they got rid of you, because you corrupt and you've been involved in this and that and so on. You see, they're floating a story, and I'll repeat it. They are floating a story around, Mr. Gator and Lacrette, that how some financial institution was coming to repossess your vehicle, and the Prime Minister had to step in to stop the financial institution from repossessing your vehicle because it would have been an embarrassment to the government. Which one is more an embarrassment? A financial institution repossessing your vehicle, or a sitting MP selling a vehicle that don't belong to him? Which one is more embarrassing to the government? Because you have a minister that sell a whole vehicle that did, well, not minister now. We don't know what might be taking place in the future with Mr. Study. But you have a whole MP that sit down there. He sell a vehicle that didn't belong to him. You didn't hear the Prime Minister make any statement in relation to that. You didn't hear the Prime Minister coming out and say, well, we had to deal with this man and I have lost confidence in him, and as such I'm asking him to resign his seat or anything like that. No. Instead, he was given a gracious offer for selling somebody's vehicle. Yes, Mr. Lacrette, remember? This man was given a gracious offer for selling. He sold somebody's vehicle. It was not his to sell. They loaned him and he sold it. And he had to go back and pay the person after. But they're saying that how you owe the bank or the credit union or whoever, and they come and they seize your vehicle. But they're circulating that. But they're hogging up the man that sells somebody's vehicle. Mr. Lacrette, hold a press conference. Hold a press conference. Tell the people what are the personal reasons that the Prime Minister has lost confidence in you. What are the reasons that he is saying that he has lost confidence in you? Can't lose confidence in you just so. They're circulating all kind of stories on you. And if you allow them to continue circulating those stories, eventually they will become the reality. So do not allow them to continue circulating those stories. Hold your press conference. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Good night. Correct me if I'm wrong, eh? What I do gather from what the Prime Minister would have said is that he would have spoken or informed the Governor General of his action, what he wants to happen. My thing is that, did Mr. Lacrette, upon entering that meeting, knew he was no longer a senator?
Well, that is exactly what happened, and I find that to be very disgusting, very inhuman to treat an individual like that. So, he went to the Governor General, he withdrew Mr. Lacrette as a senator. Mr. Lacrette went to the meeting, probably still believing he's a senator, and was informed in the meeting, hey, you ain't a senator, get out of here. That is basically what happened, you know.
So why you do that? And you come in and say, and he's saying what it is. You inform the Governor General what action to take, what you want done. Unknowing to Mr. Lacrette, the man entered the meeting as a senator all the time. His position has been revoked. And you're telling me that is not the work of a criminal?
You see, again, there's a thing that we often speak about on this program called emotional intelligence.
No. You don't do people that.
No, as I said, we often speak of emotional intelligence on this program. And that just shows that the Prime Minister and his colleagues lack emotional intelligence. And you're telling me, none of them that sit down inside there, none of them, big hardback man, like Mr. Cornwall, Mr. Andal, Toes, none of them, Sister Glow, None of them could have said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, this is something that you should have handled privately instead of handling it in front of all of us and embarrass the man like that, dehumanize the man like that. And then trying to say he don't know anything about Mr. Prime Minister, you don't know anything about police escorting the man out the building. Mr. Prime Minister, you sure you want to stick to that story?
So that
right?
that again, Sheldon. Why Mr. Cowen was in the complex at that time?
I ain't calling name of no police officer. All I'm saying is the Prime Minister sure you want to stick to that story?
I heard he was escorted to his office by Mr. Cowen and another officer. So I'm calling him.
I not calling any police officer name. All I'm saying is the Prime Minister say he ain't know nothing about that. So let me see. Okay, Mr. Prime, I wonder if you want to stick to that story.
Right now, Sheldon, as it stands, we're waiting on Mr. Lackwit. Let me see Mr. Lackwit go really take his debt as a sheep. Let's go listening.
All right, my dear. Brother Lacko, don't take your debt as sheep. If you're standing up on principle, you are no longer bonded, yeah, by the rules of parliament and cabinet and so on. You're no longer bound by those things, you know. Come out and talk. Say what you have to say. Don't end up like what happened with Kenrick Fullerton during the NDC time, the last time, when they go and they make sure and they arrest Kenrick Fullerton. And then they put him in handcuff and they call the media and send them for when Kenny go into court to get the picture of Kenrick Fullerton with the handcuff on him, you know, because they will do it to you. There is a trend and they will do it to you. So don't give them the opportunity to do what they did to Kenrick Fullerton to you. Come out now and state your case before they start to build this false narrative around you that they have already started to build. You're hearing all kind of stories. Mr. Man, come out and talk. We have a call on the line. Hello.
Good night, Mr. Scott, and good night to the Grenadian people.
Kiambe, good night, my love.
Yes, good night, and good night to Matthew and Patricia, Mr. Watts, Yolan Smith, good night, and all the Grenadians that is listening abroad and home. Yeah. Well, Sheldon Scott, you begging Mr. Lackwit to come out and speak. Well, I hear on the street today, they say, school children say the Prime Minister called him last night and offered him $2 million. When he called him and asked him, you give him $2 million for him not to speak. Ask for $5 million, Mr. Lackwit, Mr. Stanley say, ask him for $5 million. And when you get it, still the beans. When you get the money, sir, don't bust the bubble. Because you have them where you want them. Right? We know what's going on in Grenada. And they're lying because Toes had to watch him and smile today. Because he told you to fire, you know. The one that said we have a lot of money. Told the others to fire. And they come in because none of them, as members, they sympathize with Mr. Lackwit. But all of they come in, all of they come in. Because Michel said he lost confidence in the minister. You don't ready yet. You doom. Because Michel, you doom. Doom you doom, sir. All you took bad mind and wicked. So things just start to happen. Things just start to happen. Watch. NDC have a track record in truth. Anytime you see NDC in power, and they are 2 years, they don't have problem. They don't have problem. Anytime they are 2 years in office, they don't have problem. You don't have to watch we know. You have to watch those around you. You have to watch all those and Claudette and Gloria and the minister who they, his name again, the one that is education and the other one that is, and Mr. Rowan, them you have to watch this. Them you have to watch. You don't have to watch Lackwit again. Then you are to watch. Are you just that? Almighty God are in charge. Are you too bad mind? Are you too wicked? There is a place for people like you all. And you can't do me nothing. I got old man, I so food. I don't care. All you wicked people. What? What are you doing to the poor people in this country? What are you doing to the poor people in this country in Grenada, Carriacou, and Diplomatic? Not even a little fly house or you somebody. Not even a little fly. Not even a little fly. Look at all the money from people that donate. They donate for you. All the time, if somebody has to sit and galvanize, where that money there? Where that money is? Then are you get the insurance money again? Eh? Are you going in hell? There's one place for your hell. And when you hear, are you leave office? Are you can run in or you have to stay right in Grenada? God will right here all you. Mr. Andan, none of y'all is stand up with Carriacou and say, Mr. Mitchell, we can't do that. All you say coming too. All you say coming too. Dr. Mitchell, good night. Take a bow, sir. They can't stop the lion. He's a lion. Dr. Mitchell is a lion, Rastafari. Or you can stop the all you want. Or you can do what all you want. Are you dumb? The voice of the people is the voice of God. Are you a curse? Where's are you a curse? All you inside it. Boo! Are you a curse? The same people that take the thing and put it in. And put are you making them see trouble? And some are you in America and England and in Canada that running all your mouth. And are you not living here? Are you not living in Grenada? Stop running all your mouth. Are you not there yet to see what's going on? Anyhow, good night. Are you
All
dumb?
right, Gabby. You have a good one.
Good night.
All right. 4407377 and let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
Good night, caller. You
Good
all right?
night, Sheldon.
Good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Yes, ma'am.
First of all, I must say I am a NDC supporter. Second of all, I must say that I respect your program. I listen to it very often with my cousin Ali, and it is a wonderful program.
I thank you.
And you're not biased. You come out and you see as it is. And I want to thank you for keeping up the issue with our lacquerette, because what is happening is not right. But I must say how I enjoy your program all the time. I always listen to you, although I'm an NDC supporter.
But nothing wrong with that. I love everybody, you know.
And I love everybody. But I am saying that what is happening is wrong. And it is terribly wrong. Lacquerette is in my constituency, and he has done so much good for NNP and NDC people in my constituency. And it has given me a very skeptical view of what I will do next election. It is bad what is happening, but I respect your program, and you have brought bias and unbiased things, but you personally not biased.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so very much, caller. You have a wonderful night tonight.
You too, darling.
All right. Have a good
God
one.
bless you.
All right. Bless
Bye.
you as well. Thank you. 4407377 and we go back to the phone lines. Hello, good night.
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Hey, just cool, man.
All right, man.
Sheldon, the chat street pick it up. You know, there was a gracious offer being given out there, you know. Mm-hmm. So if you get a press conference, Sheldon, you get a press conference. But what the chatters are picking up is that, a hush your mouth, well-behaved package pass. I understand that Uncle, the teaching hospital, was not pleased with what happened. However, that offer was made so that the same offer that was made for the other guy to keep quiet is a similar offer was made for this one to keep quiet.
Well, I hear in an offer of $2 million. I don't know. That is what,
well,
as you say, that what the
$2
chatters,
million.
what the chatters on the street say. So I just repeating what they say.
That, and they say uncle have more money than that. So it's amazing to hear what the chatters on the street are saying. It's really amazing. But despite of that, what is happening there? It only tells how corrupt the administration really are, and how little does they value the intelligence of the Grenadian people. For a prime minister to stand up and answering a question like that, and saying, I lose confidence and trust in this person, and he would not say to the Grenadian people, well, look, he did something that was so and so, and he repeated. And as a result, he just telling them bluntly, I lose confidence and trust, and it's a private matter, and it's a personal. And, it tells us not how he treating Lacret, but how he treating we, the people.
Caller, it's interesting, because he made a statement that he has lost trust and confidence in the individual, basically. And if you're making that sort of statement, now, if you're making that sort of statement, there must be a reason that you've lost trust in a person. Yes. A wife don't just lose trust in her husband just so. The husband had to do something real out of the way that she lose trust in him, and she says she wants a divorce. Vice versa, the husband lose trust in the wife and he wants a divorce because something has happened.
And she could even go as far to explain, well, I warned him. He did this thing the first time, and I warned him.
Yeah.
And he repeated it again. But he's not even giving you a hint that it's something the man was doing and that caused him to lose trust. All he just saying, I lose trust. And it's like the Grenadian people should not know.
No, it's even, even when a husband and a wife heading towards divorce, sometimes they still go through a bit of counseling. You don't just go and say, well, we're divorcing. You go through counseling. You might speak with your pastor. You try and reason out that kind of thing. And when you go to court, the facts are laid bare, and then you go forward with it.
She went behind the man like she divorced him, and when he come home, she tell me you're not right in this house,
But that's what happened. The man reach home and divorce papers signed, everything done already, and she just hand me clothes and say, get out.
Police police could have escort the man out of the house, So if people say he was escorted by police, they have a right to say that, because the way the thing was done is like everything was done behind his back, and then when he comes, that is when thing was told to him, and you're no longer a member here. You doesn't earn the right to sit here. You no longer belongs to this house.
Man, it's a sad one though, and I think the Grenadian people, what has been done there, actually has piqued the interest of the Grenadian people. Now, we want to know why he lose trust in him, because we're hearing the stories, We're hearing that the man stood up for something, and the Prime Minister trying to cover it up, and it involves illegal and corrupt activities by members of his cabinet, and the Prime Minister refuses to take action. That's what we're hearing. And we heard that the gentleman decided he's standing up against that, and that is why he get the axe.
Sheldon, I will go further on to say, if he really stand up against something like that, then he has to keep standing, because he can't stay quiet. He should have a press conference and let the people know why he stand up and why he's out. Because you have a country to save, and I mean, $2 million, you could spend it, but you just can't spend our country.
But then you lose confidence, you lose trust in a person, but you're still asking them to hold on as the caretaker for St. George Northwest. So if you lose trust, you lose confidence in them, then you don't care about the people of St. George Northwest if you're asking the person to hold on there still.
Because a man you don't want in your cabinet is a man you want to offer them.
My goodness.
A man that you don't have confidence and you don't have trust in is a man you want to offer to the people of the Northwest. That doesn't sound right.
No, it does not.
No, that's not. It doesn't sound right. So Sheldon, we will the chap continues to listen.
Yeah, the street's talking, so we listening.
And we asking and we begging and asking for answers.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, my brother. Thank you so very much.
Good.
All right, and we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Hey, hello, good night, Sheldon. Good night, Talking Points.
Hey,
how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you going?
I'm doing very well. Sheldon, there's a lot to unpack with this press conference this morning. A lot. And there's a saying that there's no question and answers. But what I picked up from that press conference in the first couple minutes when the Prime Minister was addressing his Carriacou issue is that he was making us know that he's aware that the cabinet can also have a no confidence voting in, because the Prime Minister is not about being the leader of the cabinet. So the ministers or his members of cabinet can have a no confidence vote in him as well. My question when I heard that was, if there was a no confidence in Mr. Lacret, right? Honorable Deacon Mitchell, the PM, did not say if the rest of his cabinet ministers also voted as such. Because, I mean, something like that. This man wasn't recalled or demoted. He was fired. This was not a reshuffling. And this is what we're missing. This was not a shuffling of the cabinet. This man was fired unceremoniously. And for the last couple of weeks, we've been seeing letters being issued by members of chairman of bank, and we saw from Brother Lacko and stuff, right? And we've been hearing these things. And all these things stand amongst today and yesterday, and you're hearing the outcome of who was there as police and such. And we know, looking at the Honorable Prime Minister today, he come clearly, he said, watch, he answered all these questions. And from that, I realized this man has come to bamboozle us. Honorable David Andrews. David Andrews, I mean, I know sometimes he just choke up. Brother Andal was choking up when he was lying about the summer agreement. Brother Andrews. I even watched Honorable, what's her name? Miss Joseph. And you can see the uncomfort amongst them. You can see it. You can see it. And I'm saying,
but I too, Senator,
they are members.
He could go to the Governor General tonight for both of them. He bring two people who disposable as far as he's concerned. All of these people in his mind are disposable.
At any time. So they are not elected, they are selected, and that is what making this thing, you are showing them in the public and to the world what he can do to you if you do not follow his train. Is it on me or you go? And he did it purposely because he gave them a $7,000 increase. So is it when a buyer, in my opinion, when a buyer and I have you there, anything you do after that, you're losing that income. So they don't want to lose their income because most of them, some of them first time they see that kind of money in their life. Why you say Tevin? Why you say Ron? You understand? And then you see the NEC supporters saying the Prime Minister is a professional based on what you see. You are professional and you come here and bring that to the public. That should have been quashed in the cabinet, and probably you say Brother Lacko was demoted and he'll be serving in a different ministry or such. But you fire the man on ceremony, you just take the man and fire him, put him under the bus. And I am begging Brother Lacko, because trust me, I know the brother. I went to school with the brother in primary school. Come out and have your conviction clear, because here what's going on. Brother Deacon, PM Deacon and Andy, and run. And Cornwall and Lennox and you and this man and run over you. And to the lady that left our party, you open your mouth too, the holies of holy. Because here what's going on. At the end of this thing, it's not NMP, because for some reason, they blame NMP and Dr. Mitchell. I don't know how Dr. Mitchell reached that. I don't know how NMP reached the problem. But for some reason, NMP and Dr. Mitchell, and so are laughing because the goons below life, and it's NMP this and NMP that. I didn't wish him bad, but I only wish the more they call Dr. Mitchell name, the more they give us strength. Shall I have a good night?
Yeah, all right. Hold on, brother man. Hello?
Yeah, tell me. Yeah, there.
I've been hearing a story. I'm not going into details, but I've been hearing a story. I've been hearing of a house in a certain location. We ain't calling the location because we don't want to. Hold on. Right. We're not calling the location because we don't want to cast a negative shroud on the people of that location. But we're hearing of a house of ill repute in a certain location. We are hearing that 2 government ministers are involved in procuring the people for that particular place from South America.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're hearing that.
Yeah, I hear that. But Sheldon, you know, sometimes I don't see things and I just try not to believe it. And because I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I ain't believe they're so dumb to be in them kind of thing. I will give them that. Right. They can't be so dumb. I've been hearing it. And like the clipping where Mr. Prime Minister said those guys in the north don't understand what is legal tender. I mean, all these little jabs. But you can't listen to us. You listen to the program. I'm glad you're learning. You're gonna learn. But Sheldon, I don't believe in this thing. Let me see what's going on because they say it's for the propaganda. So if it's for the propaganda,
I'm saying in this case, I have heard of it. And all I heard say is that it warrants investigation.
Yes, Miss AG, Attorney General. Why had you go into that again? She was being advisor to why had you go into it? I remember.
I think she had on a wig instead. I didn't think she had on hat.
She'll have a good night.
Yeah, not near wrong with wearing a wig. Wig does look nice. I find it nice and thing. Yeah. 4407377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers to get onto the inside. And I'll say this to Madam AG and the others. Now, we are hearing allegations of financial impropriety involving various members of the cabinet. The same way, you all could find FIU to target members of the opposition. And I'm not even speaking about myself here, even though you all tried that. But I'm not even speaking of myself here. But of ongoing investigations, I know for a fact you all are carrying out in relation to members of the opposition, trying to dig up things on them. Meanwhile, you're sitting in cabinet each week, you're sitting in executive each week with individuals that there is clear information are involved in wrongdoing. Clear information that is out there that is involved in all I'll say is that like FIU only good for some people in this place. Yeah? Like the FIU, for them to use their investigative powers, it seems as though that is only for one set of people. Yeah? Bobby George, good night to you. Right, 440, oops, sorry. I had the phone line engaged. I am very, very sorry. 440-7377-347. You see, as soon as I clear it. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon Scott. How are you, sir?
Pastor
Pastor Lewis is here.
How are you doing, sir?
Yes, Sheldon. Sheldon, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, I'm hearing you extremely
wonderful. Sheldon Scott, I had the opportunity today to listen to the press conference with Dr. Mitchell, with Deacon Mitchell. And I come to the conclusion that Deacon Mitchell is a sick person. Deacon Mitchell is a sick person. I come to the conclusion that that gentleman is a sick person, Sheldon Scott. Sheldon, was it the very said Pastor Jonathan Gayton Lockhart that were the strongest prayer warrior in the footstool of Deacon Mitchell? Sheldon, is it the same guy?
Yes, it is.
Is it the same guy with the biggest mouth that Deacon Mitchell, you used to embrace the man so much? That was the driving force behind the prayer warrior? That was the driving force to get you into office? At that time, you had all the confidence and all the trust in that gentleman? Today, that very gentleman, you have no confidence and you have no trust in him. You know what happened, Sheldon Scott? Deacon Mitchell have to realize, Deacon Mitchell should know that when Pastor Lockhart saw all the corruption that was taking place, he was honest enough as a Christian man to come to you and give you the information that you should open your eyes. So, Deacon Mitchell, when he came and told you about the corruption in Lotto, you sweep it under the table. You insulted the pastor by telling him you was not elected by the people. It's me that give you a work. That was corruption that he saw. And presently, right now, Sheldon Scott, there is a high level of corruption that is taking place on the island of Carriacou. And I know that. I has my property in Carriacou. And then for Jonathan Lacroix to tell you that and to open your eyes, it means that what Deacon Mitchell is concerned, he do not need any honest person around him. He do not need any honest person around him. And I come to the conclusion by saying, and I have no fear to say it, Deacon Mitchell is a very corrupt prime minister. And he will support his members in anything they are doing corruptly. Deacon Mitchell is Grenada number one problem. Deacon Mitchell and his members see government as a source of enriching themselves, and that is a curse. The question I need to ask all Grenadian and some of you in the diaspora, who sent Deacon Mitchell? Have a good night, Sheldon.
All right, Pastor. You have a good one. 440-7377 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to get onto the inside and air your views in relation to this issue. I believe the Prime Minister needs to say to the Grenadian people, what are the reasons? Is there a fault? Because he's already embarrassed the gentleman. I mean, emotional intelligence understands that you're dealing with a human being, a person with emotions, a person with feelings. They could feel happy, they could feel sad, they could feel embarrassed. You're dealing with another human being. And as such, if you're dealing with another human being, especially when those emotions can be amplified in the eyes of the entire nation, you have to be careful how you treat them. So you can't make the man dress, come into the cabinet in front of everybody, and basically he come there after you done fire him already. I mean, come on, that is unfair. In my view, that's unfair. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon, good night.
Good night, my dear. How art thou?
I'm there.
All
See,
right.
I tell you, this is the thing I what I don't like. When Dr. Mitchell go back to office, he do nothing to say, let we build Grenada, you know. In the last election with them, with when Tillman and them was in power, the thing he's saying, let we forget that and build Grenada. But you see what going on inside this little Grenada right now? Is a packet peeking going down around Grenada right now, you know. Peeking packet, you know. It's not working for Grenada, you know. It's big packet a day, you know. Every one of them. You see that how? Every one of them what they're doing, they know they go full in the pocket. Nobody don't working in the behalf of Grenada. You check it out?
Mm-hmm.
They don't like when you talk, because if you talk, out you go. A lot of little things going on there. And you know who I want? Papa God, forgive me for saying that. No matter is the first person I want them to knock out. She playing, she forward, jumping and balling. She in Grenada, just like if she did NDC 9 years now, 14 years now. I will hear about her. They can't shut them out because they can't remove somebody there to talk. They cannot shut them out, Sheldon. Somebody there to say something. Doesn't matter what they do. Doesn't matter what they do. They move like that. Somebody go put them out. So it don't make sense. What they doing there? Tomorrow, please, God, do investigation when every one of them same FBI, they send in behind Dr. Mitchell people and them. The FBI had to hold them and bring up in Richmond Hill. But we're going to have children. But these people and them look for it, Sheldon. Good night.
All right, my dear. And as usual, as I say, I don't wish bad on anybody. I'll never wish bad on another human being. I don't believe in wishing bad on people. But sometimes you see things that are on the way and you just say what is on the way because you realize it is heading their direction. So, I mean, my goodness. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon.
Yes, sir.
Hey, good night. I call back again. Sheldon,
but
something I want to...
You had to make it shorter because we stopped taking 2 calls, but go ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
A little clarity on this.
Mm-hmm.
Does the cabinet, the way the Prime Minister sung today, he sung like if the cabinet could fire him. Mm-hmm. Does the cabinet has that power of no confidence to fire the Prime Minister? Because those who serve in cabinet serve at the pleasure of the Prime Minister. So is it this statement is partially misleading? Is it have any form of truth in it?
No, what the Prime Minister is referring to is not a creature of cabinet, but a creature of Parliament.
It's Parliament.
And specifically a creature of the House of Representatives. The Senate has nothing to do with that. The House of Representatives. If the majority of members of the House of Representatives write to the Governor General and say that they no longer have giving their support to Mr. Deacon Mitchell as Prime Minister, they move a motion of no confidence against him, or they just go to the Governor General, he is removed as the Prime Minister. But they would have to state whom they are selecting as the new person who they are going to place their confidence in as the Prime Minister. Now remember, the Prime Minister, and I think folks need to understand that, the Prime Minister of a country is not necessarily the political leader of the party that wins a general election. You could very well find a political party wins a general election, they have their political leader, and another individual within that organization becomes the Prime Minister, because it is not based on who is in charge of that party. It's based on individual members lending their support to a particular individual to become the Prime Minister. And it has to be a letter, I think there's a letter that's brought in, if I remember the procedure correctly, to the Governor General saying this is the person that we...
have to be members of Parliament.
Those are the people who have been successful with their seats after a general election. They've been verified as the people who are the ones who have won their seat. The majority of them sign, they say, I am supporting so and so, and they go to the Governor General with that. If they withdraw and the numbers become enough and it is withdrawn and he does not have the majority support, he is removed as Prime Minister.
And not really members of cabinet.
No, it's not a creature of cabinet. It's a creature of Parliament. So it has nothing to do with cabinet. It is specifically a creature of the Parliament of Grenada, and in the Parliament of the lower house, only the House of Representatives. It has nothing to do with the Senate.
Thank you, Sheldon.
All right, my brother. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we got the opportunity to give that clarity on that issue. Now, again, the Constitution of Grenada does not recognize political parties. Nowhere in the Constitution you'd hear them speaking of this political party or that political party. You have candidates for election who become representatives, and it recognizes the representatives. Yeah, because remember, people could win a seat as an independent and so on. Right? So it does not recognize political parties.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night, my dear. How are you?
I think, Grenada would like to hear what Mr. Lacret will have to say. Because, we're hearing so much rumors, so much things is going wrong on Mr. Lacret. And I think a lot of people would like to hear what Mr. Lacret have to say. There's some things that you're hearing that he thief, and you're hearing a lot of other things,
Mm-hmm.
How he fire a man and Deacon blaming him and all kind of a thing. So I think he need to clear the air. What happened? And I can't see that you fire a man that is come from, let's say, the party and NDC. And they come the government, right? The party forms the government. And then he has posts as a senator, and then you come and you fire him, and you're saying that he is a member of the NDC party still. After you embarrass the man, you insult the man, you treat him like a dog, right? How could he be still a member of the NDC? You know, we need to hear something from Mr. Lacret. Thank you, Sheldon.
All right. Thank you so very much, caller. And again, I agree. I think most Grenadians right now, if not all, would like to hear from him. Their allegations, and I believe that there are a lot of statements being made, a lot of accusations being made towards him. And if you just leave it, that becomes reality. That eventually becomes reality because people take it to the point of, well, yeah, people are saying this and he isn't saying that is not true, so they begin to believe that that is true. So you can't allow that, Mr. Lacret, to become reality. Eventually, even if you decide you won't do it immediately, yeah? You do, and you want to do it a little after, you do it a little after. Yeah, so someone is telling me if a vote of no confidence against the Prime Minister, she has a specific short period of time to resign and allow the Parliament to support a new member, or he can call a general election. Yes. So according to the Constitution again, if there is a motion of no confidence, so instead of just going to the Governor General and say we withdraw, we support, you can have a motion of no confidence in the Parliament. What that does is it gives the different sides an opportunity for them to be able to speak on listen, there's a motion of no confidence in the Prime Minister. These are the reasons why. And you get an opportunity to give your speech and expose a lot of things and say a lot of things and so on. Now, once a motion of no confidence is successful, it's how many days? I think it's 3 days or something. Within 3 days or so, the Prime Minister then has an option. One, he can just step down as Prime Minister and allow somebody else to take the position, or he can call a general election. He can dissolve Parliament. He still has the power. He can dissolve Parliament and call a general election, because after that period of time, he will automatically be removed. Yeah? So most Prime Ministers, if they find themselves in that situation, they would generally dissolve Parliament and call a general election. We have a caller. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Sheldon.
Yes. We're not taking two calls. Hold on, caller, hold on. We're not taking two calls from persons there, so you have to make it very brief. So go right ahead. Yeah.
Sheldon, yes. Let me make it quick.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I believe there is something in that matter besides the pestle. Something though adding up. What Mr. Lacret have to do now is to take that matter, take that pestle and smash that matter so we will see what is the other thing that is in that matter. Thank you.
Okay, my dear. Thank you. Yeah, he just needs to speak on it, to let people know this is what has happened, right? Also, because remember, there's also now the story out there that payments have been made or payments have been offered for silence. We're hearing that story. We're not saying it's necessarily true. I'm telling you what I'm hearing on the streets, is that payments have been made. We have a call online.
Good night.
Good night. Hello, good night. Hello. Hi, good night, caller. Hi, good night, caller.
How are you doing, Brother Sheldon?
I'm quite fine. You go right ahead. You're live.
Okay. I'm calling from Carriacou.
Hey, Carriacou. What's up?
Not too bad. I'm a self-employed person. I lost my roof. I'm a family man. Are you listening to me?
Yes. So you're a self-employed person. If you've lost your roof, yeah.
Right.
It's a bit difficult. We're hearing you a bit muffled, but go ahead.
I am facing some disrespect. I would not say from the government generally, but from the coordinator in ADMA. Are you hearing me? Loud and clear. Oh,
We're not hearing you. We're not hearing you clearly. But go ahead. I think we're picking up what you're saying because you're speaking about disrespect from the people within NADMA. So I picked that part up. You just go ahead.
yeah. And I want to make this clearly. I am one of the individuals in Carriacou that make Carriacou is benefiting from all its relief all around the world. I was the first person to eventually pick up the storm chasers to interview. They interview me, as a matter of fact.
I just make out the voice.
So the whole world know. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I just make out the voice, man. You go right ahead.
The same person.
Yeah,
the same person drop you to see your auntie.
Yes, I remember you.
You know, and I don't like to call a radio station. I've been listening to Sheldon for a number of, years. And I don't like publicity, I don't like that, but somebody has to draw a line, right? And I don't care if anyone look at me tomorrow because it's time for a talk. I'm a bus operator, okay? And people treat people in Carriacou according to their income or the welfare or whatever. They look at your list, And the point that I'm getting at, we need to get NADMA started and running in a right manner. How can we do that? Can we do that by embarrassing somebody who go to beg for a pound of rice or a pound of sugar, have to reproach them tomorrow? You don't know who come in there. The person that comes there, they could just only fake to look at the situation that is taking place. It's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I lost my roof. I went there for a mattress and I want many people to hear that. I could afford to buy a mattress, but I just do that as a sovereign on the ground. 3 weeks they take my name for a mattress. I didn't need a mattress, I just only shopping around to know the current situation on the ground. Yesterday I went back, they tell me, well, my name didn't come up for a mattress. That is one of the disappointing news that I have to put on. I don't need mattress, I just do that. Yesterday I went back again to just seal out the ground again. The lady, a young girl asked me, name, whatever, other family of 6. She gave me one tin of candy, one tin of mackerel, one tin of sausage, a bag of rice, and I took it and I went to the back of NADMA and I told Miss Petra Roach, who is a supervisor or coordinator there, is this for a family? And she told me approach her wrong. But however, she took the bag from me and went back inside the channel a young lady and they distribute 2 or 3 bags to me. If we don't talk, this thing is very wrong what is going on. This is wrong. This is wrong. And people know who's speaking here, right? I can put my voice on the air. This is a man they call Power who runs a bus. I'm doing not for his island. I'm 65 years of age. Time to stop playing political game with relief. Time to stop playing political game with people's relief. When it comes to any country in the world and its relief, give the people what they want. Give the people what they want. I went to a place, the tourism center in Hillsborough. I did not go for food. I just go inquisitively. a young lady who distributing, they told me, my son took a bag from me. I said, my son took a bag from me. I didn't get the bag. But I go for food. So if it's relief, if I didn't get the bag, what would you do? Not to give me food? In a crisis? We got to get this thing going right. We got to get this thing going right. Sheldon?
Yes, sir.
I am one of the men that brought food to this country. 3 million people during my interview every day or every week. And should be treated in that manner. You call the minister, easy. You call that, easy. I tired with the shit. I'm not a beggar. I am only showing people I have 16 children, right? Our children university in the US, done university over 10 years now. I'm just only filling out this place. I am the man that started NDC in Carriacou with Mr. Cromwell, Joyce Emerson, right? Everybody, I was born on the sea, but I will die INMP, right? And that's the message I want to send across to people in Carriacou. I'm not a beggar. I'm going to go 14 life by God's grace. Good night, Sheldon. Have a blessed night.
Thank you very much, Brother Paul. We'll see what I up in Carriacou again.
Yeah,
all right.
Stupidness.
Yes, indeed. And folks, you see, what is taking place there is not properly coordinated. What is going on in Carriacou, and that is why you're hearing people who usually they don't call a program, they don't talk on programs and so on. They have to, because they feel it. When they see what not only themselves, but their family members, their neighbors, and so on are going through, when they see what some of the elderly are going through, they have to speak out about it. Yeah? So it is a hard one, and we must always remember to keep in our prayers and our concerns the people of Carriacou and Petite Martinique and what is going on up there. And again in St. Patrick. Yeah? The people of St. Patrick as well. I'll always have to repeat the people of St. Patrick, because for some reason, I tend to think in a lot of instances, we tend to forget that St. Patrick was seriously affected as well. So we need to keep it. We need to keep it, yeah? we need to keep it in the air, all right? 440, let me make sure I clear, 440-7377, that's 440-7377, and 347-329-3101. Yeah? And, you know, it means, therefore, and I honestly believe, I think somebody messaged that a while ago, and I honestly believe it as well, that we will be seeing a more significant cabinet reshuffle coming up. Yeah? The government is getting close to the halfway mark. They are getting close to the halfway mark. And as they're getting close to the halfway mark, I believe that a shuffle will take place. We also have to understand that now that one member of the Senate has been removed, there is now space for a new member. So whoever that new member is, going to be interesting to see who is selected as the new member to join the Senate on behalf of the government, and if that person will be given any ministerial responsibility in any form or format. It would instruct a lot as to what is to come. Because yesterday, in and between, you were hearing stories there that most of the people who ran for the NDC last election may not be running the next time around. You're hearing those sort of stories and all different things like that. And as such, we need to pay attention. But it also means that we know not when a general election might be called. I can tell you that the NDC, as the political organization, that they have been doing polling, that they have been trying to find out how the public is thinking about them as a political party, how they are thinking about their leadership or lack thereof, how the people in different constituencies have been viewing their parliamentarians. And the poll ain't looking nice for them at all. They have contracted individuals out of Canada to do that polling for them. And they have been doing that polling over a period of time. Yeah? And they wouldn't tell you the results. They keep it internal, but it's not looking nice for them. That is the reason why we need to continue keeping our eyes on what is taking place with the voters list. There should be no reason that when you check in a particular constituency, you realize the majority of newly registered people are retirees and not students. Yeah? It should be students or that sort of thing. When you look, people who have just turned 18 or turned 18 a couple months ago and they've just decided to get registered. So those should be the majority of people we see registering, not retirees. Retirees have to be people who had been living in Grenada all the time and you're now retired, so you ought to be on the list. But it means when you're seeing a bunch of retirees on the list, that the vast majority of these people are coming from outside. Remember, you have a constituency that was won by less than 20 votes. So if you put in 40 in one quarter and another 40 in the next quarter and another, you might realize that by the next election, they have added 300 votes in that constituency that they may have won by under 20 votes. So you need to pay attention to the voters list and make sure who is there is supposed to be there. And who is supposed to be there is where they're supposed to be. That you're not living in St. George Northwest, but you end up in St. John. Or you end up in Tonga St. George or so. You have to be where you're supposed to be. All right? 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers to call on and get on the inside. Good night to you, Patricia and Matthew, out there in Alberta. Hope you're having a wonderful one. Fatman George, good night to you and Ian, the entire Canadian squad. All of you Springs people. Yeah, SD. Good night to all of you out there in Canada. The North Carolina squad. North Carolina. They're watching all for the election coming up there. They're paying particular, the U.S. election coming up, they're paying particular attention to you all up there in North Carolina. Yeah. All right. So we'll say a special good night to each and every one of you out there. And whichever part of the U.S. you are, whichever part of the world you are, we say a very special good night to you all. And folks, as I was mentioning earlier, don't forget Carriacou and Petit Martinique and St. Patrick and St. John, all of the people. Yeah? Don't forget all of these people and so. They still need our help. Yeah? They still need our help. And also here on Talking Points, we are in the process of organizing our back to school. So, we usually do the book bags and so on. And we get the notebooks and the pencils and the pens and rulers, erasers, different things. And we usually do that. So we are aiming. We did it last year successfully. I think we gave out, Cammy is up about how much we give out. We gave out over 70 or more, closer to 100 book bags we were able to give out last year. And we're hoping to do a similar number this year from Talking Points. So your assistance in this matter is greatly appreciated. You don't necessarily have to be a cash donation. Sometimes the notebooks itself, because we need to get notebooks. Last year, one person, they donated a lot of pens and pencils and sharpeners and all sorts of things. So whatever it is, coloring books, those kind of geometry sets, whatever it is, so that we can help the children going back to school. And especially so that we may be able to help a lot of those in Carriacou and Petit Martinique who may have lost everything, well, most definitely lost everything during the hurricane. I think the focus has been, yes, we need to send food and we need to send this, we need to send that. But at least if we can also organize so that, at least from Talking Points, that we could send up, even if it's 50 or what, school bags. And we're not just sending the bags, we're sending the bags with books and different things in it to help the parents. Because a lot of the parents have lost their jobs. Power was speaking a while ago about the storm chasers, and they were back in Carriacou recently. And one of the things that we saw in Carriacou was a young lady saying, well, look, she's lost her job. She's lost her job. And you saw the situation where it is she was staying, and so if it rains, she definitely getting wet inside there. Yeah? So she's in a very precarious situation, right? And she's unemployed. And if she does have children, you understand the situation, what's going on there. So all of us, in whichever way, it doesn't necessarily have to be two Talking Points, but whichever way that you can assist, let's all try our very best to assist those that are in need. St. Patrick, We may not speak of it much, but there are people that lost their house in St. Patrick. Whole thing gone. I've seen videos and pictures coming out of St. Patrick, and you're thinking it's Carriacou, and then somebody tell you, no, that is actually St. Patrick. I even know of folks that have lost their homes in South St. George as well. Yeah? So it has happened all over the island, and wherever we can help, we need to help. 440-7377-347-329-3101.
There we go.
So, Brother Lacret, don't ball with your mouth closed, you know. Open your mouth. And you don't have to ball. Talk, yeah. And again, it all, you see, I tend to think that this Prime Minister and this government moves in a kind of way that's kind of uncaring. And when I say that, it's like they don't care how people feel about things. So that you would do this to the senator, well, the former senator now, you do it to him in a very public manner because you don't care how he feels. So, yeah, you go to the Governor General. Before you go to the Governor General, you could have called him. I'm sure you had his number. You could have called him in. You could have said to him, listen, I think we've gotten to a junction that we cannot move forward, that we'll have to part ways. You could have pulled him aside and said that. You could have brought him to a meeting and said that. You could have at least given the opportunity to speak to him to get to that point and say, listen, I will be doing this. I'll be going to the Governor General and so. But instead of doing that, you go to the Governor General, you just go by her. You go and you say withdrawing. And then you allow the man to come in front of his former colleagues, including the people who we are hearing are involved in corrupt activities and he has spoken out about. So they probably laughing and giggling in themselves because, yeah, let you go. Where you feel, I gain my money and he want to cut my money. I business, let you go. So that was, I mean, that in itself is dehumanizing. There's a level of dehumanizing to that. The gentleman go, he fighting to open his vehicle because he's overcome with emotion. You can't do that to people. You cannot do that to people. And there's so many instances of that, whether it's telling the most vulnerable amongst us that, hey, we are going to keep that 150. And then when they go looking for it, it's gone. And then you try to give some half-baked thing about, oh, it was supposed to come out and that's nonsense. But again, you're looking at the politics and not looking at the emotion. The people who were really needing that were looking forward to that money because they had things to do. The people who had medication to buy. The people who used that to buy the 1 or 2 bits of food stuff or the gas that they know the gas about to cut out and then they start smelling it already and they say the gas about to cut out and they're looking to buy the gas. They were looking forward to that, and then when they went there was nothing. So there's a lack of emotion in relation to how they deal with people. It's taking place in Carriacou right now. So everything is about pictures and video, pictures and video, pictures and video. Yeah? So everything is, you're going and you're showing. Would you like, and I'm speaking to all of us here, would you like that your house has been destroyed in a hurricane or so, all your inside has been laid bare, and somebody come with a video camera and come taping, and they're sending that around the world? Yeah? Nobody would like that. All your clothes all over the place, all your personal belongings all over the place. And people just come in and every 2 minutes they come in and snap. They come in and videotape every 2 minutes. Yeah? I saw GIS spend more time in Carriacou in the last month than they have probably spent within the office. And it's unfortunate. Because again, it's all about the me. I'm Prime Minister and I go up. I'm Minister this, so I'm up there. And you walk with a GIS team. It's all about the individual. And I'm saying that there is a creeping dictatorship that's taking place here in Grenada. You're seeing the signs of it. Don't look at this thing with these photographs of the Prime Minister all over grand dance and different things. Don't look at that just so, you know. There's a mentality that is behind that. That's why I said when it came to the Nazis and the Nazis had to exterminate the Jews and the Gypsies and all the other people that they killed out. There was a mentality that they created amongst the German people to dehumanize these categories of people. So they tried their very best to dehumanize them. So it was like killing an animal after a while. It didn't come like it was killing a human being. They dehumanized them to the point that it came as you was killing an animal, the same as you slaughter a chicken or you slaughter something. That is the mentality. So they've been trying to dehumanize anybody that doesn't support them. So that whatever action they take against that person, you don't see that person as a human being. You see that person as less than a human being. Those dehumanizing actions, you see it at play in Carriacou right now. You're hearing the people speaking about it. That you're going, your family need the food, so you go. You're not working anywhere. You have no employment. You may not be lucky enough to have the family members outside of Grenada who could financially support you at this point of time till you get yourself back on your feet. And then you are dehumanized. When you're at your lowest, you are dehumanized further by you have to go and you're asking for some food and then they have to watch you in your face and they have to throw word at you to give you a packet of rice or some flour or something. They have to throw some word at you when they're doing it, like if they're doing it out of their shop. It's stuff that was sent for the people at Carriacou, get the people at Carriacou and hush them out. Folks, there are all sorts of things that are taking place right now that are dehumanizing, whether it's a former member of cabinet or whether it's a mother of 3 in Carriacou who has to get something for her children to eat. That dehumanizing is dangerous. When you start to see the human being, another human being, as less than human, it becomes easy to do anything to them, you know. It becomes easy to do anything to them. So that sort of mentality has to be addressed. We have to deal with that. You cannot allow that to continue. And the cult of personality that the various elements around the Prime Minister is trying to create with him. So he has to try to be the center of attention. So all the other regional leaders dressed in their business suit, he had to come out in the white suit with the slippers. Because he has to be the center of attention, the point, the focus point. Yeah? He has, everybody had to be looking at him. The only thing he didn't wear the sash this time. But he has to be the center of attention. So the other leaders come in and they're going down the Maurice Bishop International Highway. And every how much feet is the next picture of him. They thought it was in North Korea. All you see Dr. Keith Rowley face throughout this whole thing. All you see that man smile for the entire thing. There are some stories there, you know. There are some stories there. You didn't see Dr. Keith. Watch Dr. Keith Rowley in any of those photos and other things. All you see that man smiling. He's a very serious guy, you know. Yeah? But every few feet you drive in, another picture. Deacon Mitchell. Everybody in Grenada know who Deacon Mitchell is. A few years ago, nobody knew, but everybody know who he is now. Right? But there's the cult of personality. You're traveling and you're going to this meeting or that meeting, but you have to walk with a personal photographer. And up to this point in time, we do not know if that personal photographer is being paid by the public or if they're being paid personally by the Prime Minister. If he's the one organizing their ticket, their per diem, their hotel, and all of that, if he's the one that's organizing that from his own pocket, or if the Grenadian taxpayer is paying to build his cult of personality. Where everywhere he goes, he have to move like Beyonce, he have to walk with his own camera crew. It is a cult of personality that's being created while the dehumanizing of various Grenadians is taking place. We have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Yes, good night, Mr. Sheldon.
Good night, Doc.
And good night to the Talking Point family. Just a quick one.
You don't have to be quick. You could take your time.
No, well, I'm watching the clock too, you know. You
don't
do as if you have a lot of time.
You go right ahead.
So listen. I hear the concerns about the relief and the food and so on. But I want to take this thing a little further. When we had Ivan, we weren't expecting, well, not that we weren't expecting, nobody expected a hurricane until the weatherman says, look, this is what is forming somewhere, and it's heading for where and it's picking up momentum. But the thing is, we didn't have an insurance. We didn't have an insurance then. The CRIF, we didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we had to depend to a large extent on relief and other measures, take them gradually. At this present time, the government has insurance money.
Mm-hmm.
I hear a little variations in the figures, but it's over $114 million, right? And people are living without roofs. People need to go back into their homes. We have situations where the Samaritan's Purse who are, desalinating water and so on, so people could use for drinking and whatever other purposes, I don't know. They have been there for a long time, and maybe their time is running out. Mm-hmm. So there are measures to be taken. So we have to move from relief to recovery. We have to start recovering. We have to start, the government has to start building some roofs so that the systems below can collect water, right? There are small houses and there are persons who will not be able to repair those houses. That government has to assist in doing that, because that is what we did. And we did it effectively. Provide materials for persons who could not afford. And they also have to look at repairing schools, because we're in August and school starts in September. So if you don't start now, you're in trouble. I know I get a lot of blows fight on the radio station, but it's from a few people who don't care about other people. So I'm not going to bother with what they say. But the point is, the reality is, with money that was given by other institutions and government to start off with, and with that amount of money in your hand, then we Carriacouans need to see something happening.
Mm-hmm. It's only fair.
The faster you start, then we could start to look at the farmers who lost cocoa and nutmeg and start doing other things. So nobody could do everything at the same time, but they have to start. What is holding them back one whole month after the hurricane? What is holding them back? So, it is just to put people in a begging mode. So it's relief. You have to go and beg for some rice. You have to go and beg for some that. We should be phasing out of that. They have mistreated Carriacouans and Petit Martinicans enough already. It's time to stop. When you put one family in charge of everything, from PS to PS family, and if you have to go from one to the next with the same mentality of how they treat people, it is wrong. It is very wrong. It is time that the government starts giving to the people what they truly deserve, what is theirs, because that money was paid from the nation's purse every year for the insurance. So, quite rightfully, this 100 million and how much belong to the people. So we need to see recovery starting so that people can retain their dignity, so that people can move out of shelters and start their life again. It's going to be a slow process enough already. So why not start? So that is my big beef here. It is time for the government to... They have not even told us what their plan is. What they're going to do. What they're going to know. What they're going to do later. Far less to start. So that is my only contribution for tonight.
Doc, before
I
you
just
leave,
want
though,
to encourage you.
Mm-hmm. Before you leave, though, at least we should be by this time hearing the short-term and medium-term strategy. You could bring your long-term to us later on, but at least by now, you should be hearing the short-term and the medium-term strategy. You know there's going to be an issue with water. There is an issue when it comes to farmers. And fishing is an industry that brings in significant amounts of money, especially in Petit Martinique. So, those are immediate areas you need to address. I mean, anybody, a primary school child could tell you that. You don't need to have
we study boats in Carriacou and Petit Martinique,
Yeah. So we saw
hundreds of yards away from the power of the wind through those boats away from the beach. So tell people, at least start by giving people hope. Look, we care, we're going to do something. We have a group of persons, we have a committee looking at the short term, the medium term, and the long term. This within a week, within 2 weeks, this is what we're going to start doing. So hold on, people. Hold on. Have hope. We are there for you, and we're going to start. But not a word. Only photos.
Mm-hmm. And that's
it's time we move out of that.
And then what is the immediate thing for the people in Carriacou? You're hearing now of contractors being hired on the mainland and sent to Carriacou. Some of them bringing up some staff with them, going up to Carriacou to do cleanup and so on. You have people unemployed in Carriacou.
Exactly.
And that is totally unfair.
Start sharing the bread there so people could get a little money to do certain things. So they may not have to always go to a center and beg for this and beg for that. Give people opportunities. And wherever there is food, then treat them with dignity that they deserve.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have the situation where there is building material that has been sent to Carriacou as donation and is sitting out there in the elements. And as the sun beats it and as the rain wets it, eventually it's going to start to change shape and you're going to have problems because it's untreated in many instances. So again, another issue that's there that could be immediately dealt with is not something that you need rocket science degree to be able to know that you don't leave it outside there. It's something that has to be dealt with and quickly as well.
Very much so. So, my heart goes out to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, some parts in St. Patrick, some parts, I understand there are 1 or 2 areas in St. Andrew, and there are a few persons who got touched in St. Mark, but the main area of focus has to be, quite rightly so, Carriacou and Petit Martinique. Start somewhere so that people elsewhere could say, well, it started there, it's going to reach to us at some point in time, and our monies have been properly utilized. So I don't know if Brother Lacroix spoke about that as well, and that's what gets people vexed. I don't know. But
we don't know. We have
somebody
no idea.
somewhere needs to put some sense in these people's head and say, you have to start looking out for your people.
And there's the other issue, Doc, where we have not been hearing much. Like, for instance, usually around hurricane season, you see ads. Grenada would put out ads and Nawasa and different people. I'm not seeing ads telling people prepare and what to do in case a hurricane is on the way. Yes, we may think people know, but remember in September, that's just next month, it's 20 years since Hurricane Ivan. People who are finished school and everything right now, were not alive, never experienced Ivan. You have many people in their 20s who would have been local 8 and 7-year-old and so during that period of time. So this was 20 years ago. And I think some sort of public education, because one of the things when I'm going through Carriacou, meeting people, is a lot of the younger folks were telling you they have children and so, but they said, well, I didn't know this thing would be so bad, so I stay home. I didn't put away my stuff and so because I didn't know what to do. So I just hear they say the thing they passing up the road and you hear so much message. They say hitting Grenada. You hear all sorts of things. So they stayed in their house only for the house to be destroyed. It's amazing some of them didn't die.
True.
Yes.
Very, 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 very true.
So we need that education program.
You're talking about Nawasa and Grand Lake, but how about NADMA?
Yeah, NADMA, of course. Yeah. The government
so
information
it's a collective
service.
thing.
Yeah.
And remember that after Hurricane Ivan, there was a committee of all these entities that came together, to pick up the pieces. And so if we had that kind of collaborative effort, then maybe things like what you're talking about would be taken care of, because you could start with mistakes. Mistakes will happen. But after 1 month, it goes deeper than just a mistake. It's lack of coordination and organization and taking charge. That's what it is.
Yeah. Indeed. Dr. Morris, we'd like to thank you for giving us
good
a
night.
call as usual.
Let us continue supporting our people who have lost, in various ways over this past month since Hurricane Beryl. And let's hope that government will really pick up some steam and organize an approach to the recovery. And let's move out of relief, because the organizations that donate to us
if another hurricane happens somewhere else. And you remember when we had Ivan, then there was a tsunami in
Yes,
Asia?
that's when the tsunami hit
And it's
Asia.
a good thing we moved swiftly, led by Dr. Mitchell, to start getting the relief and to start the recovery. So by the time the tsunami came, a lot of things were locked down already. So we could have continued. But if you go too late, then we could lose. We could lose out. But thank God,
Yeah.
we have the insurance money, so let's use it.
All right. Dr. Butters, thank you very much. You enjoy your rest of your night and your weekend as well. Hello? Yes, Dr. Butters gone. Yes, indeed, folks. And we just have roughly, if somebody has to call, they've got to call now. If anyone is going to call us, they've got to call no, if they want to get through. All right, because we have just roughly about 2-3 minutes remaining. Yeah, we just have about 2 minutes remaining. We have a call online. Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. How are you doing?
Fine. Yeah, I just called to make that comment. You see that thing about, you see what they did to Mr. Lacret? That word, dehumanization, is a terrible word. It's a very embarrassing thing. You understand what I find the Prime Minister should do? He could have called Mr. Lacret and discussed it with Mr. Lacret, tell Mr. Lacret about it. Then calling Mr. Lacret together with his colleagues and telling Mr. Lacret that in front of his colleagues. Something similar like this that happened to people like Peter David and how to call the other man, Stanford Simon, in a meeting they had and the NDC had in McDonald College. I know if you remember that.
That's in the
when
2012, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, when they went up to the General Council or convention or whatever.
A convention, yeah.
And see, I remember that, right?
Yes.
And they got the embarrassment in McDonald College. So just think about that. Just think about that.
But even worse than that, remember what was done to their former parliamentarian what was done to Kenrick Fullerton. Not only did they just what they did to Kenrick is that they actually called the media and said he is going to be brought in at this point in time, and you had people going there with the cameras and so to get the video of the man being brought in. I mean, that was disgusting.
Really, really.
It's a sort of dehumanizing thing that the pictures were on the front of the newspaper. Him with
very embarrassing. It's not an easy thing to be embarrassed, like that, Mr. Sheldon.
Yeah.
You understand? The man couldn't even open his car door. I say, come on, that's a very embarrassing thing. I say, what happened to this Prime Minister? Something wrong with he, man.
Yeah.
Something definitely wrong with he.
Very, very.
And if Mr. Lacret sit back there, as the talk going around and said you're offering him $2 million and he get sold for that, then something had to wrong with Mr. Lacret.
Well, we'll find out if it's true.
Yes, we want to find out if it's true. He can go and get sold for that because he won't get just as what Judas gets.
Anyway, caller, we are out of time. All right. Yes, indeed, folks, we're out of time. That's all the time we have for tonight. And just letting you know, yes, I know Monday is a holiday, but we will be having our program as normal on Monday night. Let me repeat. Yes, I am aware that Monday is a holiday, but we are having our program, God's willing, as normal on Monday night. All right? So just letting you all know early, no, we will not be having a Friday night program, but we will be having our program on Monday night. So, folks, in all you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and definitely not about you. My name is Sheldon Scott. I am out of here. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let me see if I could find that one. Yeah, right. Nice. Yeah, that's the one I was going to play.